Okay, we're here with Beau and Layla, and basically Layla was found at Jocelyn Dog Park, which is just down the street from my house in Santa Monica. Somebody abandoned her there. She wasn't shipped, and so she has got a great new home. And so basically, and they did went to animal control, and they had her for a week, and so now she's here. So the problem is she is a more confident dog, and Beau is kind of an insecure dog. And she is kind of, when you first bring a dog into your home, they're going to try to establish themselves. And so it's going to take a week or so before you start seeing their real personality, then they're going to start pushing the boundaries. I think she's at her push the boundaries sort of stage. In this video, we're going to talk about how we can set our dogs up for success in a walk by adding structure to the leashing process. Now, these dogs, I actually asked the guardian to go through and leash them up, and you can see Beau over there sitting behind me. He's already on a leash, and so is she. Most of the times when we narrate, you're going for a walk, the dog starts to get excited. And then we pull out the leashes and they get even more excited. And then we attach the leash and we get more excited. So every time I see the leash, it represents the excitement of going for a walk. This is classical conditioning. This is Pavlov's dog. So basically, we say something and then it initiates a response after. So basically, one of the first things you want to do is make sure your dog's energy is calm before the walk. Now, the dog's leashes are usually kept in that closet. So one of the things I would recommend the guardians do is stop narrating. They say, are you ready to go for a walk or something like that. A lot of times that starts getting the dog worked up. They'll figure it out when we put a leash on, start walking, and they'll know what we're doing. So no narration. Now for dogs, whoever's in front is perceived to be the leader. So if I'm sitting where the camera is and I get up and I start walking over here to the door, the dog's gonna be like, oh, I know where we're going for a walk. Let me beat you to the door. So the dog's gonna race ahead of me and beat me at the closet door. Well, now it's moved ahead of me, it's in the leadership position. I don't want to participate with the dogs when the dog's in a leadership position because I perceive myself as a leader. And so as soon as the dog moves in front of me, I lose interest. So what you'll do is get up and start walking towards the closet. As soon as the dog walks in front of you, turn around and go sit back down. Don't say no, no critique, no criticism, no correction, just we stop. And then the dog's gonna be like, all right, now what are we doing? Aren't you going for a walk? And they come back to you. Are we going for a walk? And once they come back and they settle down, wait for them to settle down completely. Most people wait for them to get more settled down, but not completely. One of the tips of this is do this at times where you don't plan on taking for a walk. Because right now, every time the leashes come out, it's a guaranteed excitement of a walk. So those are associated together. Well, if we start leashing them up 4 or 5 times for every one time we go for a walk, oh, is this another drill? And we're drilling on the walk thing. Oh, we're walking. So you kind of got to take that out of them and they don't get so worked up thinking about it. So once you can actually get all the way to where the leashes are, the next step is I just reach for the door. That reach will a lot of times get the dogs excited. If it does, you go sit back down and you stop. You keep on stopping at any point the dog show any excitement because excited is not necessarily happy. Eventually I can open the closet, I can take the leashes out, and the dogs stay calm. Now once I get to the point where I can touch the leashes, then basically what I would do, when I come over here, I walk away, do it again, come over here, sit. Now we have 2 dogs here. Most people will do this with both dogs at the same time. It's going to be much more difficult, it'll be much more efficient if you do it with 1 dog at a time. When you add up the time, it'll still be easier. Plus it's easier just dealing with 1 dog. So we teach that 1 dog that as soon as you get excited, we stop. Well, I don't want him to be nervous about her because she's gone after him a couple times or her to be so excited that it affects his, influences him. We want them to learn this on their own. So once I get to the point where I walk here and they stay behind me and I open the door and they stay calm, next step is when I come here I say sit. Once the dog sits, then I open the closet, I take the leash out and I attach the dog's leash, the collar. At any point, if the dog gets up, I abort and I go sit back down. It has to stay seated the whole time. So once I do that and both dogs are on the leash, then we're ready to actually go for a walk. Now the guardians were using a splitter, so 1 leash that goes into both dogs. Now walking dogs together is really good to help them get more friendly with each other. The dogs get over things by literally moving forward. So walking dogs together can be helpful as long as they're not walking all over the place or spazzing out. You want the dogs to be parallel with you or slightly behind you, but you don't want one dog in front of the other one because that is perceived as having more leadership. So once I get the dogs leashed up and they're completely calm, I said this off camera, but the energy your dog is going to carry with it on the walk is the same energy that it has in the house. So if you don't take care of that before you leave for the walk, you're going to have this the whole time. It's not going to be a lot of fun. Once I get to the door, and I'm going to probably just do it with him unless she comes over. Now, there we go. I'm going to have you take a couple steps over and stand about where I was standing with. Keep the camera going if you could, please. All right, so Layla, I think is going to probably come in. So now, right now, I'm going to wait so we got hearing that. See, both of them kind of perked up. Can you see them both in the shot?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And just me and him is all you really need.
Okay.
But this sound receives the door opening. Same thing with this one. You're doing such a good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Yes. He's being a little nervous, so I want to build up his self-esteem a little. But these sounds are associated with the door opening and going out for the walk. So what we want to do is help the dog practice this sound without the door actually opening. So we desensitize them from it and they get comfortable. Now when I get to the door, come here, buddy. Come on. Come here. Oh. All right, well, we'll do it with Layla. She's a little bit more confident, so she's going to want to go outside. So when I open the door, sit, sit. So I'm recreating the sounds without the actual opening of the door. Sit. Now, if I tell her multiple times, I don't mean it. So if I weren't doing this video, I would drop the leash and I would walk away at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we're practicing opening the door, but without the actual next step. By practicing one step at a time, we can teach the dog the behavior one. And you see what she did? She didn't walk in front of me, she walked behind me. So when I open the door, I don't have to the guardian was doing a good job. He was structuring it in a way, and you were showing good patience the way you're doing it, but at the same time, you were still, when you went through the door, you kind of went like this, and to go through, you're trying to, I want the dog to do the work. Then I go through the door, and the dog follows me. Now, by taking the time to do this and breaking down step by step with each individual dog, he knows what to do and she knows what to do, and they know what the steps are that are going to stop them from being able to go for the walk, because they want to go for a walk. And once they figure it out, then they start doing these things faster and faster, and eventually they come over here and they just both sit at the door like that. You open the door, you're grabbing your keys, you're putting your stuff on, and the door's wide open and dogs are walking by and they're just sitting there because they're not allowed to go out unless they get permission to go through the door. And that doesn't happen here because we're in an apartment complex. So then you walk through the door first and they just follow behind you. Layla, you did very good, sweetheart. Let's give you that treat. So these are some tips and tricks that you can use to keep your dog from getting too excited before they go on a walk so they can behave better on said walk.